welcome to Horror Movies with Friends. That's right, I'm your host, Andy Green, aka Wolfmandy Screame, at least for another 10 more days, because this is day 21, give or take, we'll figure it out. And that means 31 movies, horror movies, 31 friends, and 31 drink pairings. And before we go any further, you know how this goes now, I have to introduce my esteemed guest here. Very excited, we have writer, comedian, filmmaker, IC alum, fellow college friend, and least importantly, my RA in, was it the second semester of freshman year, I believe, maybe sophomore year. And this is Tatenda Mbudzi. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for getting on this couch with me.
Yeah.
This is a long time coming.
It's been a minute.
Like 10 years.
about 10 years.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry it took so long, and I'm sorry it took Blacula of all movies.
I mean, if it had to be a movie, I guess Blacula's the movie, I guess.
I guess so.
Yeah.
And I guess I was supposed to ask you what we watched, and I just sort of blew that. But
we watched Blacula.
Blacula, a Black Avenger.
So there we go. And that is a 1972 film directed by William Crain, starring William Marshall and some dude from Twilight Zone and a bunch of other people. And yeah, Blacula. That can be seen on Shudder. It can be seen, I think, on Tubi TV. It's like sort of all around the spectrum, so it's easy to find. And well, we'll see if it's worth your while, but I think it is, and hopefully Tatenda does as well. But before we continue, I'm gonna have a beer. Would you like to join me?
I'll taste it.
Do a little taste. Yeah. Okay. So what are we having? We are having the midnight snack, and it feels like midnight to me, but every day now is a blur. And this is a stout with cheesecake, vanilla, cacao nibs, and pumpkin spice.
Oh, Jesus
so
Christ.
it's an intense
cheesecake. You
cheesecake.
should have said cheesecake.
Yeah.
I would have been like way more into it.
I should have said that first, but no, you've already said your answer. You only get to try it. And I'm gonna pour this for camera. Get this up here. I'll at least do a little splash for you in here. Ooh, is that good?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Yeah. And then I will give myself a little bit more here. Look at that liquid goodness. And yeah, this is from Abomination Brewing, so a very on brand for this project. And this is a big one. This is 14%, made in, I believe it's made in North Haven, Connecticut, which is the, probably the whitest place. So not necessarily Blacula, but we'll see. I don't know. Smells intense.
Yeah, it smells intense. Wow, it's got a little.
Got a kick.
It smells like vodka.
I mean, it has heat. Yeah, because it's 14%. It's strong. But it's not. It's actually not, for having cheesecake in it. It's not just sweet. It's.
Oh man. Yeah, it's like. Chocolatey.
It is chocolatey. Yeah, you get the cacao in there, the vanilla. Do you get the pumpkin spices?
I'm not getting any pumpkin.
I feel like that's the aftertaste. I get like sort of that nutmeg ginger thing, but like I'll be honest, that's the part that I don't love about it. Everything else I like. I like that top.
I feel like there's like a clearinghouse in the back of my throat, and they're just removing boxes. That's what it feels. That's what it tastes like.
Does one of those boxes have a coffin in it with William Marshall in it?
Yes.
Yes. William Marshall's. What did you think of Blacula? What does this beer work with Blacula?
I think it works.
Yeah,
it's definitely got like that musky man kind of like you are my wife to be kind of like kick.
This is a you are my wife to be beer.
Yeah.
If you drink enough of this, like you'll probably start seeing wives. Make some mistakes.
Or like proposing to people, say, hey, you are my wife now.
And that's not far off from what he does.
This is not far off from what he does. He basically he's just like a 200-century-old stalker, and she looks like someone that he used to know.
Lova, I believe, is. It sounded like he said Lufa.
Luva, yeah.
Luva.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it was actually kind of, it's just kind of crazy. Like, I just love how they wove like the African culture into it. Like in the beginning, like when Luva is there, she's all dressed up very African, but he's like wearing a suit, which I thought was kind of funny.
Right, because I guess he was like trying to look more professional or something for this.
I don't know.
Wait, wasn't that what he had to be wearing when he woke up in the coffin? So like they didn't want him to be wearing.
Oh yeah.
That's probably why.
That could be why.
Because if he's in like the sort of the African garb, that would be not as conspicuous or not as Dracula-y.
Yeah, maybe that's why they did that.
Although I wouldn't be against seeing that.
Yeah, just like the totally decked out,
there's
kind of full on.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this movie is decked out in a lot of ways. Like the '70s costumes are some of my favorite parts.
Yeah. There's some really good, Tina has some really amazing, just some stunning outfits. I think the costume design is like really good. It's kind of, and it feels like stuff you'd see today, weirdly.
It does. It's very fashionable.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The midnight snack's coming. It seemed timely. Yeah, I guess maybe that's coming back. Or maybe we need it to come back.
I sense it coming back. Like he had like the like little shorts and then like the open chested. I feel like I've seen Zendaya wearing something along those lines.
Yeah. No, I look at, and Blondie right now is haunting the set. He found a chocolate, a Lindor chocolate.
You shall pay.
Like you said, it starts in 1780 Transylvania, and Mamuwalde, an African prince, basically meets with Count Dracula, the Count Dracula, to sort of tell him to stop. To tell him this, and he's trying to get him to cease slavery, right?
Yeah, basically trying to get him to sign on to like be one of the signatures on this petition to like stop slavery, I guess. Which to me was like super interesting. I was like, that is like so cool. It's such a good motivation for Mamuwalde's character. It makes you like, he's like a guy who's trying to do the right thing.
I curse you with my name.
And immediately, Count Dracula is the most white evil man
Oh my god,
ever.
such an asshole. He's like, I would pay dearly to have someone who looks like your wife in my house. And then they kind of get into it.
Yeah, he says that's a compliment. He's like, no, that's like, he's very demeaning, very racist, he basically offers to buy his wife. And this is the love of his life, this is Luva, and also like sort of who he's haunted by for the whole movie.
Yeah.
And I guess because he says no, his punishment is to become Blacula.
Yeah. Which is interesting, because for some reason, I thought that the name Blacula was something that would come from like the 70s part of it, but actually Dracula names him Blacula, which I think is pretty witty. It's like, has Dracula taken a copywriting class or something? Because that's like pretty clever. I don't know.
You shall be Blacula.
Yeah, it was clever for 1780 for sure.
Yeah,
But Count Dracula's been around for a while, presumably, so he's smart. I mean, he's a piece of shit, but he's smart.
Yeah.
He's like, you will be like of me or something, and he's sort of like, well, that means I'm gonna do a rhyme on my name, I guess, like because I think probably wouldn't allow him to be Dracula.
Yeah.
So he has to like.
But that's kind of messed up. Why?
Right.
Why is a black guy not good enough to have the Dracula name?
I mean, I think for Dracula, probably no, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah, which is kind of messed up.
I mean, everything that Dracula does is messed up for sure. I mean, he turns him and then stuffs him in a coffin and then basically says your wife is gonna watch you die, and your wife is gonna die, like basically looking at your coffin.
Yeah.
Essentially, she's just gonna wither away. I thought we were gonna cut to her like skeleton.
Yeah, we didn't see a skeleton.
Didn't get to see a skeleton.
Yeah.
Maybe she actually is alive. There is a sequel to this, Scream, Blacula Scream, and maybe that's how this works.
Because there was a second coffin in the room, so maybe she's in the other coffin.
He just never thought to open the other coffin. He's just like, well, because he found Tina, and he's like, oh, well, that's like the 70s version of my wife.
Yeah. Unless, well, I guess the two interior decorators only took the one coffin.
Well, oh, that's true. Yeah, we got to talk about the interior decorator,
Yeah.
or like the antique dealers. They were openly queer.
Which is very progressive, I think, for the 70s.
And also interracial.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like not hiding it at all. I mean, yeah, they were sort of flamboyant, but like in a way that they were owning it. It wasn't, the movie doesn't make fun of them.
Yeah, it didn't feel like the way the characters were played just felt so well done.
Oh, it's tight. Look, I'm not a nurse, you know.
Although it did get weird throughout the rest of the movie where they did drop like the F word.
Yeah,
gay
but
people
it
multiple
was
times.
yeah, but it was always the white cops, right? Like it was never.
Actually, Thompson did say it.
Oh, Dr. Thompson did. Thomas. Oh
Dr.
man.
Thomas did say it's like a.
Oh, never mind. I thought Dr. Thomas was like a perfect. He's sort of the hero of this movie, even though it's Blacula is sort of. I mean, he's the villain. Blacula's the villain, but Dr. Thomas is sort of the badass that's just like on it from the start. He like knows something's up, and then he's. I mean, and I like how he played it. He was just like, everyone needs to actually see visual evidence of this.
Yeah,
it's not the scenes where we've seen so many times in movies where it's like Tatenda, there's vampires, and you're like, Andy, shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
It's more like you're not going to believe that, so come and maybe die with me as we investigate.
He went to like some serious lengths to show proof, which is very impressive.
Don't sweat it, baby. We're almost there.
What do you expect to find anyway?
Yeah, he's a really fast digger, and he has a great mustache.
An amazing mustache.
Amazing mustache.
Are you into the occult?
This is growing on me, I think, a little bit, but it's still the end. The end of it doesn't work for me. The end of the beer.
It kind of goes very malty at the end.
Yeah, I agree. But to me, I think that's the pumpkin spices, and it like sort of almost tastes like it curdled. Not actually, but it just sort of, it doesn't taste good. I guess is the answer. Like I feel like I want this to continue on the cheesecake train.
Yeah, there's not enough cheesecake. There's not enough cheesecake.
There's never enough cheesecake, and I think that's always where I
like literally, you said cheesecake, and I was like, pour the whole thing in there.
But now you're glad I didn't.
But now I'm glad you didn't. Yeah.
I knew when I said cheesecake that you're gonna say yes. I knew that's like a really hard thing to say.
Although it does have a really cool illustration on the back, which is really cool. Like this.
Yes, it's like an open fridge. I mean, here I'll probably just do an insert, but I'll just do this anyway because why not? Woo. This was actually purchased by a previous guest, AJ Refson, who was on Full Moon High. We didn't get to do this one because her husband drank it before the episode. He didn't get the memo what we were doing.
Husbands.
Yeah, husbands. I know. Being one, I'm a problem.
You're the only imbecile on this street.
Yeah, like you mentioned how it was interesting starting like the motivation of this character, and then he sort of from then on sort of star-crossed lover. That's his new motivation when he wakes up.
Yeah, he kind of drops the whole stop slavery thing. I guess maybe he figures out that it's over.
Once he sees the purse and realizes what the purse is, he seems very like quick to like adjust to his position and even to being a vampire. Like he knows everything that he has to do.
Yeah. There's no like learning how to do it montage. It's just like he's just hits the ground running.
Which I think I appreciate. I don't know if I need to see him learn.
Yeah.
Blacula knows what he's doing.
He knows what's up.
He thirsts for your blood.
Because he's like all about like ending slavery. I kind of wondered if he would have like a different attitude as to whether when he first comes out of the coffin and he attacks the white guy. I wondered if he was going to do anything different to the black guy, but he just attacks him anyway. So
that's true.
I kind of thought, I was like thinking, I wonder if he's like going to be like, I don't know if woke is the right word, but like if he's going to be like discerning based on this whole, I've been on this racial kind of crusade thing, but I guess it kind of doesn't. It
doesn't. No, it's just sort of a hunger thing. But also, aside from, I mean, he basically, there's no discrimination in terms of who he's feeding on. It's whoever's in front of him, basically. Yeah. But I think that would have been more interesting, or like a way to make this, I guess, not that it needs to be like probably wouldn't have been made if it was like, let's hit it over the head with like civil rights things, like I'm Blacula crusading for civil rights, like maybe, like, because you could see sort of, you know, coming into LA in this time and Blacula seeing the disparity and he's just like, we've come far but not far enough sort of a thing, but like obviously that's not what this movie is.
I would totally watch that movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, me too. I think that'd be a great movie.
How about the heavy stuff?
I feel like that would be an interesting way, like if it starts with maybe him murdering because of his thing and then realizing like what gets him to stop feeding is sort of realizing the situation that he's entered, perhaps. Maybe he like wakes up thinking, oh, everything's good, you know, slavery has been abolished, we're all good, this is the fun 70s, and then, oh shit, this isn't fun.
Shit's still real.
Yeah. But
that'd be a different movie. Yeah.
a different movie. Maybe that's Scream Blacula Scream, but judging by the title, I don't think so.
Yeah,
no, but that's Pam Grier on it. We'll have to watch that next time.
Yeah.
Did anything piss you off? Anything you loved?
I love some of the driving shots. They just looked like, I think there's this one shot at night where the car is driving and they're kind of looking for him. Where there's like different shots in the movie which are like ahead of its time, and then other shots which feel very 70s.
Yes.
Like I like the shot, like the slow motion shots of the vampires were always like scary and felt like terrifying.
When they attacked, they had sort of this manic, crazy energy that was sort of a slightly, I mean, it has a Hammer horror, like the sort of the British horror vibe, but like add more mustache and beard hair.
Yeah,
but also like the dark room sequence. It's like I've never seen a vampire in a dark room, but it's such a perfect thing because it's just washed in red, and that's just like such a cool mood.
Hot, fresh blood will quench his awful thirst.
When he came from, like, she opens the door and he's just sort of flying at her.
Yeah, that was cool.
I also loved the title sequence, the beginning, like sort of James Bond kind of vibe, but it's just like an animated, very basic animation of like sort of blood spots going around, but then the blood spot becomes a woman and then being chased by a bat, which is, you know, the theme of the movie, right? It's basically the movie.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Blacula
That was
chasing
really
Tina.
good. I'm trying to think of what else.
Well, I think maybe Tina. What did you think about Tina?
Well, Tina, I can't. You know, I understand. I empathize with Tina. I feel like she's just kind of like hopeful, maybe a romantic herself, and she. It is kind of funny how quickly she falls for this guy who is like just chasing her down like an alley or whatever. But
yeah, the lesson is if you return the purse after chasing someone, you're invited for a drink.
You're invited for a drink. You're welcomed.
I guess if you look like William Marshall or sound like him, his voice is great.
Yeah, it's very very regal,
very deep.
And I was like, it was kind of funny. I was just thinking like when they're trying to get her to like cooperate with their plan to catch Blacula, and she's like reluctant. I'm just like, I just couldn't help. I was just like thinking like that vampire D must be really good now, because it's like. It must be that good that she's just like, yeah, he's killed some people.
But,
you know.
I mean, what I was thinking the whole time was like, is he glamoring her? Is this whole thing like basically not of consent at all? Like, or like how much is it mysticism? Like, it doesn't seem like he's doing it, well, I don't know. It just, like, he has this charisma, but she's like immediately charmed when she sees him, and it's like so off the wall that you're sort of like, oh, is he manipulating her, or is it just sort of his vampire charm? And to me that makes me uncomfortable because I don't know. Like, I don't think he's doing it on purpose, really.
Yeah,
it's not like,
it's not clear. He's definitely got like this confidence and this swag, for lack of a better term. But
swag, yeah.
But he does say, you know, he does say, I will not take you by force.
Well, you must come to me freely, love. But not at all. I will not take you by force.
So I think
I
feel like he's not using that power.
And maybe that's a very pointed line that they're like, maybe someone watched it and like, ooh, we don't want him to be rapey.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good, I forgot about that line. And yeah, I think that does sort of, I want to take, like, because I actually want to be where you were in terms of like, oh, this is like, they are just sort of star-crossed lovers and just fall for each other immediately. It's very naive, very sort of ridiculous. Like she says, I love you after, like he basically tells her that he's a vampire and like, he's very honest, which is good for, you know, always be honest, right? Hey, I'm a vampire, you know, he tells a story.
This is like not friend. This is friends with benefits or whatever it is, whatever the arrangement is. He's very upfront.
Yeah, he is very. And then like he's respecting of her wishes when she says no, leave. And then he gets to the door and she's like,
Mama Walde, stay with me.
no, stay. And that's all she needed, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, their relationship is sort of like iffy, but like for this movie, you're sort of it's the shrug. Yeah, I think that's like it's sort of
well.
It's not offensive or anything, I don't think, but it's sort of it could have been a better relationship or maybe more.
Yeah, I mean, because she's just very into him. But I think she did play it well. She's like, I think she played like this kind of like over her head, like in over her head in love kind of girl.
Yeah,
I was fine with that.
Yeah, she sort of bewitched her, and maybe not literally, just sort of like love at first sight kind of a thing, but also just sort of, this is a strange man, he's so into me, and that's sort of intoxicating in some way. And and he is very kind to her and to her friends.
It seems like she doesn't get out much, and this is the first time someone has like shown her
been nice.
A lot of attention.
Well, because they kind of said that, you know, that they've been chased before. You sort of get that sense, like, oh, we need to move to the suburbs.
Oh yes.
And
that line was so fun. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
He's like, you said that last year. Although I guess that was Dr. Thomas and his wife or girlfriend. We don't really know exactly, but they were clearly in a relationship. And that was cool too, that they were just in a committed relationship and she was sort of just like down to dig graves. I mean, not initially, but was convinced.
She was convinced to dig some graves.
But she was just there watching. It was just Dr. Thomas shoveling, and I was very impressed.
Yeah, because he basically like dug 6 feet deep in like I don't know how long. It was
a couple
just
hours. I don't think I could do that. This was, I think, better than I expected in some ways. What did you come into thinking?
I think I was I don't know. I think I wanted it to be like a little bit more modern, but then I just kind of accepted what it was. I think I was hoping for like the type of vampire flick that I'd watched when I was a kid, but
like what?
I couldn't even tell you the title. I just know that there was these vampire movies that would come on Zimbabwean television that were like scary as hell, and I just loved them. I couldn't tell you a title. I have to do some more research.
Well, I want to watch those. Do you know, like, where were they from, like, these movies?
I think they were American, or maybe some were European. Yeah, I couldn't tell you what accents they had.
Yeah, but that's a really cool. So, like, that's your first experience with horror? Kind of.
No, my first experience with horror is, well, basically, the church that I grew up in basically like believes like 100% in like evil spirits and stuff like that. So I kind of grew up with it in a way. So like I'm trying to think of like I think the first horror movie that I remember watching was like Poltergeist.
Here.
My dad had that on VHS, and so that was kind of it scared the hell out of me, but I absolutely loved it. And then I guess I just kind of just grew up always like being afraid of like spirits and demons and things like that.
Because they were real.
Because they were real to us at that, and but I still loved horror movies anyway. I don't know why.
I mean, sometimes fictionalized horror it's nice to feel safe about being scared when it's so scary out there.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, oh, I can handle this because I live this.
Damn. You lived Blacula? You lived
no,
Poltergeist?
Well, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's a whole other show, I think.
That's a whole other show. Yeah.
But I mean, but but like, what is, to me, what is good about horror movies, or like, is that we are here, brought together by doing this, talking about it, and that it is sort of this like, that it can evoke those things for you, and obviously completely different things for me, but we're also sort of both enjoying Blacula for entirely different perspectives.
Yes, I love watching horror movies with people. I remember this one time the church ladies came over to our house for a prayer meeting, and I by this time I watched Poltergeist I think like 5 times or something, and I played it for them, and they watched it as like a documentary, and they were like scared shitless, and it was like the best feeling ever. So I do love watching horror movies with people.
Oh man, that would be so fun to watch. I mean, to watch Poltergeist with someone who's taking it literally.
Yes.
That is
everything. Literal, 100%.
Wow.
1,000%.
Well, we gotta watch Poltergeist together. Scream, Blacula, Scream. I wanna watch that. But bring the church ladies.
Oh yeah.
That's a fun screening. Like, that's so fun.
It was super fun.
And did you do that to screw with them? Or was it sort of like you were curious, was an experiment?
Actually, I'm trying to think of, I think, if I'm honest, I think I was definitely, like, I think I was curious to see how they would react, and then also, like, wanting to see them scared. I think there's definitely that little bit of me that was just like, ooh, let me show them something.
I mean, also they're in some ways sort of responsible some of the fear that you had as a kid, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like, hey, spirits are real, and all this shit. So it's like, well, here's some real spirits for you. Shit. Well, this was a real spirit, and this was a spirited conversation, I think. Tatenda, I don't know, do you have any lasting thoughts on Blacula before we call it?
I thought it was fun. I thought it was a fun movie. Yeah, I thought it was good.
I'm really glad you watched it with me and that we watched this together. I know on the drive over, you were like, did you just want me, a black person, to watch Blacula?
I did say that.
And I said that, like, I think the short answer is that it's a bonus, because it's better than 2 white dudes talking about Blacula. Certainly, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But I wasn't, I gave you a few choices, and this is the one that won out because I guess Poltergeist wasn't on the list. I should, if I had known.
I can't really do like horror right now. Like,
yeah.
I love it, but actually I can't watch it because I don't sleep for days.
And hopefully Blacula won't. I don't think it's that type of movie, right?
No.
Oh.
Although I kind of wanted it to be a bit scarier.
Okay. Well, it had a couple of those moments, but yeah, really. You want it to be okay. It's one of those ones, because you can't help yourself, right? You want the fear.
Yeah.
You want that, even though it might mean sleepless nights.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's horror and like at its best. Like we go to the scary, go to the depths, and then there's regret involved there. That sounds like humanity. That sounds like, but like
lots of regret. We understand regret.
I wish Chris was here on the couch because I know you were a friend of Chris as well. You knew him, and I think he would have enjoyed it. He would have taken issue with the F word, but I think he also would have been very interested to see 2 openly gay people in a movie like this, because that definitely surprised both of us.
Yeah.
And I think I mean I was sort of delighted, aside from the fact that yes, they get killed almost immediately.
Yeah.
But they at least get a second life with fangs, and I think Chris would want fangs. We all want fangs.
Fangs are dope.
Yeah, fangs are dope.
They look good.
Yeah, they do. And that I bring him up because that's why I'm sort of doing this for this whole month, 31 days of this, because I'm sort of just trying to remember him. It's this is his birth month and a favorite month of his, and I just miss watching movies with Chris and friends in general. So thank you so much for joining us on the couch. And I'm doing a fundraiser through the Trevor Project, and that's a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping LGBTQ plus youth. There's more information below if you can spare any change. But yeah, in the meantime, I guess tomorrow's episode, tomorrow in quotes, I am going to be talking about the Train to Busan, the Korean
that's
film.
Such a good one.
Yeah, I've actually I've never
seen it.
Yeah,
Dude, you're in for a treat.
Yeah,
it's so fucking good.
But yeah, I'm excited for that. And Train to Busan, I believe, is streaming. I didn't look this up, but it's all over. I think it might be on Hulu, to be honest. So, but there will be a Chiron below with all that fun information so you can follow along. And that's the homework for this. And then, I will see you at the next phase of the moon. And in the meantime, let's howl at the moon for the friends we miss, the friends we wish were here to see this.